Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second Philippines-Australia Defense Ministers meeting. Joint press conference will be conducted. We will now hear the opening statement from Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles, to be followed by Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro. Sir?
Well, thank you. Let me start by saying what an honour it's been to be here in Manila today, to be with my good friend, the Secretary of National Defence, the Honourable Gilberto Teodoro. Gilberto and I have now met on frequent occasions here and in Australia and in fact around the world, and I am deeply indebted to Gilberto for his friendship and his partnership in what is a really fundamentally important relationship for Australia. Australia and the Philippines are both countries which have shared values and a shared commitment to the rules-based order, an order which is under pressure in our region. And what we have seen over the last few years is a growing body of activity between our two defence forces to assert the rules-based order within the Indo-Pacific. And what this means is that a relationship between our two countries, which has been in existence for decades and which has been underpinned by very strong people-to-people links and a great degree of trust, now has a really significant strategic dimension to it, and that very much formed the basis upon which our conversation and our discussions happened today. This meeting is also occurring whilst we are seeing exercise along, and over the coming 2 days, both the Secretary and I will be able to have the privilege of being able to see our servicemen and women work together in this very important exercise. This is the largest exercise in which Australia will participate beyond our shores this year. It's an exercise involving more than 3,500 personnel, principally Australian and Filipino personnel, but also including US and Canadian forces. There are about 1,600 Australian personnel who will be participating in this. HMAS Brisbane, one of our air warfare destroyers, will be present in this exercise. There will be infantry components as well as Air Force components. We will have F-18s, Growlers, P-8 aircraft. It's a significant contribution from our Air Force, which means that this is an exercise which is occurring across all three services, air, land and sea, as well as components of special forces, components in cyber and components in space. The point of all of that is that it is an increasingly complex exercise, more complex than the first iteration of exercise Alon 2 years ago. And that's really what we are seeking to achieve in exercise Alon this year, and the complexity of the exercise reflects the depth of our relationship and it reflects the growing trust between us. Today we have, as you've just seen, also signed a statement of intent to pursue a defence cooperation agreement that we will seek to sign this time next year. This will be a really important step forward in terms of our defence relationship. It builds on the 1995 Memorandum of Understanding between our two countries. It will encapsulate the totality of our engagement in defence, but it will include, for example, a commitment to see us having annual Defence Ministers meetings. It will look at how we can do more in terms of coordinating our exercise and operation tempo between our two countries. It will look to how we can do more in terms of pursuing infrastructure development here in the Philippines for the benefit of the armed forces of the Philippines. And to that extent, to that end, we have also, as part of our outcomes, agreed to pursue a defence infrastructure plan. Right now, Australia is pursuing 8 different infrastructure projects across 5 different locations here in the Philippines. And we've agreed now to establish a plan between our 2 countries which will guide the way in which our infrastructure investment is pursued over the coming years to see greater infrastructure here in the Philippines for the benefit of the armed forces of the Philippines. I really want to thank again Gilberto for your warmth and the way in which you have hosted our delegation over the course of today, and we really look forward to what we're about to witness over the weekend with Exercise Alon. Your friendship has been really important for me, and as we work together in what is an increasingly complex and volatile world, the relationship between Australia and the Philippines, the way in which it is being transformed in a strategic sense, the depth of the growing defence relationship is something that is really exciting to be a part of, and I'm so glad to be able to pursue that body of work with you.
Thank you very much to our distinguished guest, Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles, also the Minister of Defence of Australia, and members of his delegation. And